Making an action manga? You might wanna learn this first. Okay, so I think I speak for every artist when I say hands are a big enemy of drawing humans. Yes, you can gloss over drawing an unfolded hand when drawing an action manga, but not so much for a folded one. At one point or the other, you're going to need to know how to draw a clenched hand, a fist. So where do you begin? Well, this video will save you genuine years of your life, so pay attention, chap. Now, in a previous video of anatomy, we covered the arm but not the hand or the fist. Reason obviously being because I knew I was going to make this video at a later point. But you will notice that this video is focusing on fists rather than the hand. And the reason why is the hand is much more easier to draw than the fist. Fight me. I mean, even if we are speaking in video game terms, we know that the final boss, the fist, is always harder than the sub-boss or the mid-boss. So why not fail and try until you defeat the big boss, then go back to the little one? Yeah, you get my point. So let's go for the breakdown. We're going to be covering 4 views. That's a lot. Starting with view number 1, the front view. From this view, the biggest shape that appears is the rhombus made by the first third of the fingers. If you want to be more dynamic with your perspective, make the other side of the rhombus, the one furthest from the thumb, shorter. The pointing or the index finger will be the biggest and the smallest will be the pinky. It goes in descending order, so biggest to smallest finger. Yes, that is exactly how a clenched fist looks from this view. Next up, you draw a little triangle next to the pinky. That's your palm skin creating a crease because you folded your arm into a fist, forcing it outward. Now for your knuckles, you want to draw a triangle on top of your rhombus with the highest point or the peak being on top of the middle finger. Now on top of the lines that you drew to divide the fingers into biggest to smallest, you want to draw little C's. Then you connect the C's with another C that's upside down. These are your knuckles. Below the pointing and the middle finger, you want to draw a rectangle now. Then you draw a C connecting the bottom of the rectangle to the bottom quarter of the index finger. Lastly, you add curves to make everything organic and smooth. View number 2. From the wrist, you want to draw a square base with the other corner hanging a bit more on the other side. From the overhanging corner, you want to draw a square at 45 degrees or at an angle, tilted. Go back to the main square. Top third, draw a line that will connect to the top left corner of the hand. Again, we go to the main square. Draw a straightish horizontal line, bottom third, to somewhere around here. Try to make these lines parallel for the sake of making it simple for yourself. Now try to make a line that's perpendicular to the top line. Perpendicular meaning a perfect corner, like the corner of your TV or a corner of a square. Quick adjustment, you want to take the top left corner of the hand and extend it a bit more to the left. Now on your weird quadrilateral, you want to do the same thing you did on the front view, which is dividing the finger into sections, biggest to smallest. If you don't dig the look, you can just make it equal sized, but it looks more dynamic when they are biggest to smallest. This of course applies to all the views. Next up, we draw the triangle fold we drew earlier for the palm of your hand, the crease. We draw that triangle again with the peak on the middle finger, but then this time we make the peak a bit lower. Then same procedure again, we draw the C's right in between the lines that divide the fingers. We connect the edges of the C's with C's. Go back to the tilted square. On the upper third, you want to draw a line, and in the middle you want to draw another. Side note, try to make the lines not touch the end or edge. Draw these lines as if you are practicing perspective. Then curve it all to make it look more organic and we are done. View number 3, the incoming fist. Again, from the wrist, you want to draw a square. Make it slightly bigger than the wrist with one side overhanging but on the bottom, like the last one. Draw a rectangle in front of that square with the bottom of the rectangle overhanging the square by about a third. In terms of the width, it should be half the width of the square. Now on the corner made by the overhanging rectangle and the square, you're going to make a line. The line horizontal up to the halfway point. Now from the halfway point, you want to draw 3 diagonal lines, one going up, one going side, and one going front. Now these lines will make 90 degrees with each other, but we are not chasing perfection, just the idea. From here, you want to make a slightly bigger, slightly tilted rectangle that's incomplete next to the one you just drew. Same idea with the next incomplete rectangle. Slightly bigger, slightly more tilted. Now because the index or the pointing finger is smaller than the middle finger, you want to draw only a triangle. Now this triangle must look like a corner of the incomplete rectangle that must come next. Circling back to the main square, see what I did there? You want to draw an obtuse angle. This is for the thumb and it's hidden by these fingers. Now you want to connect the incomplete rectangle corners to the wrist, and right there at the wrist you want to make a little bump because it's always there. Next up, the C's for the knuckles. Remember, the index finger knuckle won't show up. Then you curve it all, say it with me, for the organic look. Hey, if you've been looking to improve your productivity to get your manga project on the road real quick, you might be interested in my school community. I spent hours on productivity tactics, podcasts, and reading, and as a result, I 21x'd my speed on manga output at least. So if you're interested in doing the same, join my school community and I'll personally help you out. $7. If you can afford Spotify, you can afford it. Link in the description. Back to the video. And now we get to the fight back punch. Same logic, square from the wrist, rectangle next, but this time no overhang. Again, the rectangles have the width of the square. You divide the rectangle equally horizontally and vertically. Get rid of the top half of the vertical line, and as for the bottom half of the vertical line, you want to divide it into two lines. These lines will be 45 degrees in different directions, 90 degrees apart. Again, not for perfection, but for the idea. Go to the side where the horizontal line touches the square. That's the top corner of the rectangle you are about to draw. The second corner of your rectangle will be in the middle of the index finger, right there at the bottom. You draw a line parallel to the one you just drew. And from the index finger, you want to draw a perpendicular line, again flat screen, corner of a square. And under your square, you want to draw an obtuse angle that will connect to the thumb, or the rectangle in this case because it's not a thumb yet. Lastly, you want to draw a bigger rectangle behind the rectangle you just drew. Draw some C's for the knuckle, then curve it all again for what? Yo, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a sub, a like, the usual stuff, and I really recommend you join my school community. It's really valuable, really affordable. $7 for now, but I hope we meet again soon.